All right. Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Dr. Well, you guys know who I am. My name is Dr. Anwar Youssef Dunbar, and this is Big Discussions 76, my original channel. First of all, please like this stream. Please share it. And please subscribe to my channel if you're new and if you haven't been here before. Well, guys, I'm not going to waste a lot of time tonight. I have a special guest, and it's an honor for me to be able to talk to this gentleman and to interview him. I've been following him for a number of years. So I'm going to bring him up shortly, but I'm going to get some things out of the way first. Let's see. I didn't show this last night during my science stream, but you guys know I'm a writer as well as a YouTube content creator. So there's my blogging platform. I have an email address right there strictly for my YouTube stuff. I have a Facebook page, and that's my Twitter handle and my Instagram handle. So if you ever want to reach out to me with stream ideas or video ideas or just any other comments or feedback that you don't want to put out there in public, you can use that email address right there, bigdiscuss76@bigwordsarepowerful.com. Okay, so tonight's guest is going to be Rom Wills. Rom is backstage right now. I'm going to bring him up shortly, but first I just want to set the table a little bit and talk about how I found Rom. You guys know I live in the DMV. I see Charles is there in the chat right now. I moved to the DMV in 2008. So, geez, I've been here about 13 years. I'm a Buffalo native. And, the social life here in DC is unlike anything I've ever experienced. It's not like Buffalo, where I'm from. It's not like Detroit, southeastern Michigan, where I went to graduate school. It's not like Albany, New York. It's its own unique thing. And I think I got turned on to YouTube probably around 2013 and 14. And like a lot of people, I came here watching Tommy. I'll just say Tommy. You guys know who Tommy is. And then at some point, I discovered BGS. And then at some point, YouTube started sending me Rom's videos. And I said, okay, one day I said, okay, well, let me take a look and see who this Rom Wills is. And I was hooked immediately. You know, the stuff he talked about, it was for the most part men's content. We're going to talk about, just Rom has lots of content, but I was initially drawn to his men's content, and he had a way of eloquently speaking and articulating himself. And he had the jazz tracks, at the beginning and at the end. And oftentimes I felt like he was speaking to me in terms of becoming a better man and becoming knowledgeable on the world and how to move through the world and navigate through it. So many of his messages were speaking to me. And like a lot of men, I was raised for the most part by a woman. And that's not a knock against my mother. I think she did the best job that she could have. But I think I'm going to ask Rom about this. There are a lot of men who leave their homes and they don't know what's going on. They get out there, they start socializing, and they don't really understand, why they're getting the results they're getting or why their social life isn't popping the way they want it to. And when I looked at Rom's content, he was explaining a lot of things. He was filling in a lot of gaps in much the same way that BGS's was, and it just resonated with me. And so I continued listening, and there was a stretch where pretty much every day I got up to go to work, I would get ready for work listening to Rom's content. And I think that's also a testament to how regular he was, or how regular he is with the content. So that's how I discovered Rom. And I've been following him on YouTube ever since. Also, I follow him on Instagram now. And I also bought a copy of Nice Guys and Players. And I also realized leading up to this stream that I did a review over on my entertainment and media channel on Nice Guys and Players. And that one did pretty good. So guys, that's how I came upon Rom, and him and his content honestly have been a mainstay in my life ever since I found it. I'm gonna show you guys something else because as we'll discuss, I just subbed Rom's business channel, and I've realized that there's a lot of overlap between us. Rom is an established YouTube content creator. I'm a very young YouTube content creator. Rom is an established writer, and I'm an aspiring writer. And I'm going to show this to you guys. This is the book project I've been working on. And I set up this writer's blog. And this link is below this stream in case you want to take a look. I'll probably talk about this in separate content. But the book I've been working on is called The Engineers, a Western New York basketball story. And I just wanted to show this because, again, as I've been watching his content lately, I've been seeing that there's a lot of overlap between the things we're interested in. This is going to be in the description box below. I'm not going to spend time on this right now. The other thing, and then I'm going to get out of the way so I can bring him up. I have a science channel, and I'm going to ask Ram about how he decided to make multiple channels, because someone recently recommended to me that I had too many channels and I should consolidate back down to one. But one of my inspirations for having a couple of channels is Rom, because Rom has several channels. So I think one of my contributions to this space and to the world is the fact that I am a Black male scientist, and there aren't a lot of us. So if you, I just did a stream last night with Brother X, Prophet of Thought, on mechanical engineering and how he started that career and how he started that business. So if you guys aren't subbed over there, I'm about 46 subs away from getting 1,000 subs on my science and technology channel. So I think that's very, very important that I get that to 1,000, because I can share a lot more information there. But guys, with that, that's what I wanted to say. So I am going to bring the field master up right now, as the master teacher calls him. Some of us call him Uncle Rom, and we're going to talk about that in the next hour. So, Rom, welcome.
Thank you. I'm honored to be on, and so many things that you said. Yes, let's definitely jump into them. Oh, and if you don't mind, I'm going to address what you said about like being raised by your mother.
Yes.
Because one of the things, I've talked about it before, spent the early part of my life primarily with my mother. And then, because of some circumstances, went to live with my grandmother, but my step grandfather was still there. And I had a lot of father figures. Now, I don't know what it is now, but that's one of the things. And I mean, everything, I had father figures, uncles, everything, grandfathers, everything from like, Papa Pope from Scandal to a real life ghost to, Lonzo from Training Day. That was my uncle. And, and then like some good men. So that's one of the things, is just having that village. And I think that's one of the things that I do. Of course, people call me a dating coach, even though I'd say, yeah, okay, if y'all want to call me that. But I notice a lot of what people respond to me as is that uncle. Even the way I talk and everything is really purposeful. Because if you see my earlier videos, I'm just straightforward and everything like that. But then when I started relaxing more and getting into it, people could relate. Like, like the elder that's in the barbershop or something talking, or your uncle that don't care what comes out of his mouth, but he tells you some truth. So I said, and that's actually natural to me, because one of the big things I'm seeing, the impact I'm having, especially on some younger people, it's not even about telling them to get women, to be honest. Like I said, I'm known as a dating coach, but most of the guys, they can get women. They like, yeah, okay, I got a woman. I need help with this. I need help with this. And most of the feedback I get is from young men such as yourself who are working on books, because we definitely want to talk about that, or multiple channels, or doing stuff business wise. In fact, if I had my druthers, because there's only so many ways I can say body game, my main channels of focus would be my money channel and my deep thought channel. Like when I do the videos there, it's just a flow. And just so people know, when I talk about money, I mean business, and then I expand it to money management, it's about the mindset of money. If you have the right mindset, you can always make money, because money is really an energy. Like that's why they call it a currency. It's an energy. And trust me, we can go deep into that. But once you have that mindset, money will always flow. You'll find you always going to get money. Even when you ain't even trying, you ain't even thinking about it. You sitting someplace eating some buffalo wings and somebody come to you with a business opportunity. That's how deep it is.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I just wanted to share that real quick. I mean, whatever questions you have, I'm ready. Just shoot.
Okay.
And I just want, first of all, I do want to say real quick, it's an honor to be on here. And for the people who watch this video, sub this brother. And like, in fact, Anwar, can you send me a link to your science and technology thing? I'm going to shout you out. We're going to get you to 1,000, because we need that. We need that, especially in the Black community.
Yep.
Because we got some brothers out there, they can make a radio out of some rocks.
Yep.
So powerful stuff. That's what we need. That's the stuff. Okay, we can talk about women all day, whatever. Or we can talk about what's going on, all the political stuff, but science, we need that. And I want to shout your channel out. I'll do it in the car. Everybody pay attention to the car video, so I'm gonna make sure I shout it out. So please send me a link for that. And
okay.
You said you need 46 more subs. Now you need 45 more subs.
Okay. Well, I
That's
appreciate
how
that.
deep
Yeah.
it is. I'm subbing you. And
I'll
I'm gonna
shoot you.
make sure, I'm gonna say, look, y'all sub this brother now, because science and technology, that's it. Because if you think about what's going on, everything is science. I mean, come on now, technology. Look who the billionaires who running this planet now. You know, Elon Musk, technology. Bill Gates, technology. Lex Luthor. I mean, Jeff Bezos. And y'all know, look, I know he ain't gonna get back, because I know some people say, you know, you look like Lex Luthor. I mean, that dude's a global conqueror. But how you do it? Technology, ultimately. Ultimately, yeah, he's selling stuff, but shoot, that's that technology right there. Amazon, oh my goodness, we could do something there, but it's the technology now, because everything. I mean, people making money off that technology. So we getting you that 1,000, brother. We getting you that
Okay.
1,000. But don't. I'm not that old guy. I'll just talk. I'll be like, seriously, I'll be like napping for an hour or something, be all groggy. Then as soon as the cameras come on, I'm just chatty boobalati. So whatever questions you have, brother.
Okay. Well, Ron, first of all, I appreciate that. I think that, yeah, we as a people were underrepresented in those fields, and that's where everything is going. So I think I need to use my voice to try to help propel some others forward, because I've done it. I went through the training. So I can guide people and say, this is what you need to do. This is what you need to look out for. So
yes.
Wayman Brown, thank you for the $5 super chat. Everyone, the super chat is live. Also, I'll be putting my Cash App and PayPal in the chat throughout the stream. Guys, we're not going to do a panel tonight. This is going to be a Q&A with Rom, and then we're gonna wrap things up. So we're not going to do a 3 to 4 hour panel tonight. So, but Wayman says, excellent collab. Rom is one of our well-rounded voices in the space. Peace, Doc. Keep grinding. All right. Shout out to Buffalo, New York, McKinley High School there. So Ron, before we jump in, I just want to go back to what we talked about. Yeah. So having multiple fathers, the village, that's significant.
Yes.
And I think President Obama said that at one point, that we could have multiple fathers. And as I've gone on through my journey, I've had multiple fathers. So I think the take home message is, just because there weren't a lot around in my immediate circle, I think that's what I was trying to say. But as I got older, there were men around who took an interest in me. So you can always find what you need.
Yeah, because I never forget when I was young, 7 years old, learning how to ride a bike. And I was living with my mother and sister. We were living in like one of those in-law suites at this contractor's house.
Mm-hmm.
This contractor did some work for my grandmother. And I remember I'm out in the middle of the street trying to ride my bike and stuff. This guy coming out, he got a suit, shiny shoes. You know how those old school brothers would dress. you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember he came over to me. He actually grabbed me by my neck and he said, "Pedal, boy." And he started running along with me in a suit, shiny shoes. And he showed me right there how to ride my bike. I'll never forget that. He just took it upon himself. We had never really had a conversation. I mean, I knew him, but never really had a conversation. But he just stood up. Like I said, he wasn't in like some work clothes or anything. But that's how men were. And we still have men like that. We just need more like that. We need more like that. It's like sometimes people get in this whole single mother thing. It's like, I don't want to deal with her. Okay, well, fine, deal with the sons. Like we have plenty of men who like sports coaches or barbers, a lot of barbers. I always joke about letting the barber bless you, but a lot of those men will talk to the younger men. And it might be somebody they see doing something, they're going to support you. Now, is it everybody? No, but let's praise the ones who are doing it. And everybody can have it. You might not have the biological father there, and it's not even necessarily the person's bad. Sometimes somebody might die, some things happen. It happens.
Mm-hmm.
But it's important, especially for black men in this country, to at least like reach out. I mean, there's been some times I've had conversations with straight up thugs and they would change up. I've actually changed some lives, and I don't have any problem saying that. Like some kids, they want a bad path, but I say something to them, and then all of a sudden they change up. Like I had one kid, he was just trouble, but he started hanging around me, and he changed his life all the way around. I actually looked him up recently. He's very successful now. But
Okay.
this the same kid who, when he's about to get in trouble, and some police were asking some questions, like, "No, officer, I didn't see a knife in his hand," and he realized what he did. But that dude was just totally loyal. That dude was totally loyal, and he was basically a good kid, but he just needed a little bit of guidance. And one of the things he told me was he didn't have anybody to talk to him. You
Okay.
know, he ain't had that father to talk to him and stuff, and that's all I did. Then another one, I made him cry just by telling him some basic game. He said, "Nobody ever talked to me like that." I said, "Man, I'm just trying to keep you out of trouble." He appreciated that. So that's all you need. But go ahead. Like I said, you know me. I
Yeah.
was like, and then turn on the lights, and then I'm like, I'm fired up.
All
But
right.
whatever questions you have, because one thing about me, there's so many things I could talk about. So
Yes.
I want you to keep it specific.
Okay. Officer Faulkner says, "Salute Dr. Dunbar and Uncle Rom." Woo! Okay, he
No,
always
that's a
does it right
powerful
there.
brother, right? Now that's a powerful
Yep.
brother right there. I haven't met him yet in person, but you know how you just you see somebody and how they are.
Yep.
Because I guarantee if he has to like arrest somebody in the neighborhood or something, the mother will probably come to him and say, "Officer Faulkner, you get him. You get my boy. I don't want anybody else to get him. My boy going to respect you. Like, you
Well,
keep
well,
him out of trouble."
well,
you
Uncle
know.
Rom. Let me say this. I mean, we're all in the same area, but I've hung out with Charles. I've seen the body game at work. So.
Well, it's not no joke. That is not a joke. I wish people would understand that. One of the reasons I promote it
uh,
on a primal level, I definitely will, brother. On a primal level, that's what turn women on. Now, of course, you still need the other stuff, talking about your class and your spiritual beliefs and just plain personality. But we talking about on a primal level. Don't fight it, use it. And plus, the women who would tend to be most attracted to your body are have a natural attraction, so you don't have to force it to the same extent because it serves a purpose. It serves a purpose. All I would say is just leave it on the body though. That's the good bait, but you still have to click with the woman and see what she's about. See if she's a part of your plan. She is in submission to your mission. And when I say that, it means she's supportive. Is she supporting your mission? And I've actually told women, if you do that, all these women talking about, oh yeah, they want the bag and stuff. The man will provide it automatically. We'll protect and provide and do all that stuff for the women who support us. We'll give her stuff she ain't even asked for.
mm-hmm,
And I
mm-hmm.
told him, I was like, y'all making it hard on yourself. Y'all hustling backwards. Just support the man. Shoot, you provide that support, that nurturing and everything, just the support to that man who's reaching high. He's going to remember. That's why you get some guys, they become millionaires and they'll stay with their high school sweetheart, even if she ain't a so-called dime, you know? Now I know some people say, well, some will leave. okay, well, that's going to happen. But for the most part, like you look at a lot of these Hollywood actors and celebrities been married to their women for 40 years. Nobody talks about it. Like somebody like Ice Cube or Samuel L. Jackson, you haven't heard any drama from them because their
No.
women were with them. But go ahead and answer the question, man. You know
Okay, yeah,
me.
all right,
I
all
knew
right, all
that
right, all right, all
too.
right. Yeah, we're at 20 minutes. Live like a Sacro Generator says, thank you for the super chat. He says, it's Brother Nana. Rom has kept me straight on many occasions. Okay, guys, you see the background there? It's the sunrise. So keep in mind, rising and transforming. We're gonna circle back to that at the end.
Okay.
So Uncle Rom, so you talked a little bit about your background. You in your content you've described, and you can go into as much detail or as little detail as you want about this. It sounds like you come from a middle class family, but you also somewhere you started learning about the streets as well. How did that happen? I mean, because I know in high school,
I started in the streets, man.
Okay.
I used to live in it's probably, since you familiar with the area, Anacostia is probably gentrified. It's probably not the same.
Mm-hmm.
But when I started there, I remember when I moved there first when I was 6 years old. I remember my uncle saying it's gonna be rough out there because I was a nice little kid. So it was rough out there. You had like places like Berry Farms. Like I drove through there about a year or so ago, and you got these fancy apartments and stuff, and you have people of a different color over there now. But back when I was there, it was rough. And then there was a major mental institution over there. I think they cut back on the mental institution. It still might be there. You had people on those day trips, so it was a lot of stuff happening over there. So I started there because technically I have no problems admitting this, even though my overall family, extended family, is pretty much middle class, solid middle class, even some aspects on the edge of that whole bourgeoisie, like the boule types and stuff, which even though I apply that to the whole upper middle class and people understand that that's technically a fraternity, but people outside of it use the whole term for it. But my mother, because of her issues, well, she was on aid for dependent children and stuff. She was on welfare, and she was like, everybody has that family member that kind of go away from everybody else. So she did that. So I was in that environment, but because of some circumstances, me and my sister were removed from our custody and started living with my grandmother. Now she was a government worker, more middle class, owned property, traveled and everything. So I started out street, still had some even where I lived, because then I was in the DC area, North Michigan Park.
Mm-hmm.
And that wasn't like as bad, but it still had some roughness, more working class and young professionals were there. So still had some roughness. So I started out street, still carried it with me. But one of the things that changed everything for me and introduced me to a more upper class background was going to Archbishop Carroll in DC. And at the time in the 80s, it was known for its football program and everything. And it was there that I was introduced to more upper class folks, dudes, and socializing, went to some Jack and Jill stuff. So it was that thing. It was, it was taking getting used to, but it was an interesting thing because I was always a smart kid. But
Mm-hmm.
then when I went to Carroll, I was able to blossom because I didn't have to go to school worrying about watching my back. Like even at the more working class middle school, I had gotten in the habit of always having the my back to the wall so I could see everything around me. It was one of those things. It was one of those things because even I remember, because it was a school that went to the 8th grade, I was fighting every other week.
Wow.
I was fighting. I was like literally fighting. Because at first I was one of those kids, yeah, I could get rough, but then people would try to come at me. But then I hit a growth spurt, and then all of a sudden I was like, oh, hell no. Even one of the teachers said it. They said, I remember a teacher said, this is going to be the worst report card ever. But I was still able to get into this private school. And then, there it was just a different vibe. It was like everybody was going for those high grades and everything. And, it was known for the sports and all of that. So that was one of the things. So that gave me a different perspective. Then it was college and beyond. And that was always that helped me. So I was always one of those people. I could go on the levels for that reason.
Okay.
So I can go hang out with the dudes on the corner like it's nothing. And you might, okay, you hear my voice intonation now,
Mm-hmm.
but if necessary, man, I can go hang out with these other motherfuckers on the street, man. Whatever, man. We sit there, chill, do what we got to do. But then I can switch it up like that. People wonder, but it is what it is. And I think that's one of the things. And one of the lessons I got from that was seeing how people interact in different classes. And that's very important. That's why when I even sometimes a lot of times when I talk about relationships, I say, hey, class matters. Shout out Master Teacher BGS for bringing up the octane model. You can, and indeed, there's a book I've quoted several times, Money Issues in Black Male Female Relationships. And I remember he said, and I met the author one time. And one thing I'll never forget he said in it, and I always use the quote, he said, you cannot have an intelligent conversation about Black male female relationships without discussing class. Otherwise, it's a joke. That's a paraphrase, ain't the exact quote, but it's a joke. It's a joke because it's a class thing. People talking about Pookie and Ray Ray and stuff, but Pookie and Ray Ray dealing with lower class women. They dealing with the 85s and 87s octanes, as BGS would outline. Now you get the more educated women. Only way they would deal with Pookie and Ray Ray is if they came from that environment. But if you get women who come from a more upper class environment, oh no, they look down on that dude who looking a little thuggish unless he's like an alpha showpiece. Shout out cousin T-Taw, really handsome and really quiet.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be on the low. But then when they want to be in a relationship, well, they playing Negro geography. Where'd you go to school? Where'd you pledge? All of that. So that's the thing. So that was the thing. So that's why I have that perspective. It's like I can survive in the different environments. I'm a chameleon. I can adapt, lone wolf, but I can just flow like it's nothing. Because it's just normal. Because even when I was still living in Southeast, I go to my grandfather's house or my grandmother's house or something. I actually had a pony.
Wow.
So it was an interesting life, but I realized the purpose of it now was just give me a different perspective. And even now, that's why I can look at stuff differently. And and even then, even some women who were more upper class, they said I had an edge. They had a certain edge to me, even though I wouldn't try to present it, but they could still pick up on it. But then even the lower class women said, well, hold up, even though I hit that street intonation with them and whatnot, but they'll say, oh, okay, yeah, you smart. So you learn a lot, you see a lot. And that's one of the things in the discussions about relationships. I mean, to be honest, we always got to put class in it. Ain't no ifs, ands, and buts. Even in the Black community, especially, even though the classes in the Black community flow together a bit more, because I don't care where you are, you got a cousin that live in that project. I don't care who you are. I don't care how bougie you are. You got a cousin somewhere. And I don't care how hood you are. You got some bougie cousin. Sometimes every now and then y'all might hang out together at a family thing and be chilling, but then act like y'all don't know each other in the streets or something.
Right.
So I mean, and that's just a reality, but you got to take class into consideration. You got to take class. So, but that's just my background. It wasn't like I studied it or anything, but I live with it.
So you learned how to navigate both worlds or
Yeah.
multiple worlds.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I thought it was normal until I thought it was normal, but then when I started seeing closely, and I'm gonna tell you how deep the class is. You can even look at the phenotypes and the physicality of it, especially in the Black community. I mean, that's something people don't want to talk about, but you can almost look at someone and give a general idea of their social class, but especially their clothing, hairstyle, and everything. And all of that plays a part in just not just relationships, but in just navigating life. Because in America, let's be real, there's a underlying caste system. There's an underlying caste system in America. So it's something you got to pay attention to. That would take us in another conversation.
Okay.
I told you with me, you got to
Yeah.
keep the questions like just
Okay.
straight.
Let me read these two
Go
super
ahead.
chats. Charles says, Rom, come to the cigar lounge
Let me know.
with us next time. Woo. That's another Ric Flair. Woo.
I don't smoke, but I just look at the women with the nice old butt dumps.
Well, well, there's some of that too, but we also drink,
That's all we know.
we sip on some cognac as well.
Okay, we can do with that.
Tanny Johnson says, shout out to the DMV's finest, brothers rising.
Yeah.
Okay. So Rom, what brought you to YouTube initially? Was it your writing? What was it? Yeah.
You know what it was?
What's that?
It was my writing because on my blog, romwills.com for a long time. Well, the blog on there for a long time, I was writing like some long essays. Like I get them on Sunday mornings and write out. I mean, I have like a major book on there, right? Every once a week. In fact, I did a book, Thoughts from a Raw Brother, on some of my best essays from there. All right, so I was doing that. But then, you know what? Sometimes it could take something out of you to write. And I get that sometimes. As much as I'm a writer, sometimes I don't feel like it. So I say, okay, let me do a video. Now, at the time on my website, I was too cheap. And I'm gonna say the word cheap because I could have paid for it, but I was too cheap to upgrade it so I could just upload videos directly. But I could put links to YouTube. Now I had a YouTube channel already, but it's one of those things I ain't really upload on, you know. So I said, oh, okay, I could put a link. So I started uploading on YouTube just to put the link on my website. But then people were starting to put comments. People were starting to follow. And even then, I was still like, oh, okay, that's cool. I didn't think anything of it. But then I was like, well, wait a minute. People can make money off of this? Because I was not big on YouTube at all. Even having that channel, I probably just got a channel just to watch somebody else's stuff and then didn't bother with it anymore. So that's how I got started. People were paying attention to the stuff. And then ironically, I still upgraded on my, I upgraded my website. It wasn't money, I was being cheap. I'm big on money management. I got to have a real good reason to spend money.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we could talk about that later because I only live on about 40 to 50% of what I actually make. Very modest. But it was like that's how I got started on YouTube. And I didn't know about Manosphere or anything like that. I just kept growing. But then as I was growing, and at first I would only put a video. Well, let's see. The first video I put up one. Then I don't think I put up another one for another year. And then it was very slow. And then it'd be once a week, then every few days, and then every day. And I got to give a shout out to three people who really promoted me: O'Shea Duke Jackson, Obsidian.
Obsidian.
Oh, yeah, Obsidian. I mean, you know what? That's one thing. I don't have any. I give credit where it's due. Obsidian did a lot to help promote me. BGS. They started promoting my stuff, and then all of a sudden I exploded. And it's just been steady growth since then. And then, of course, I expanded to my other channels. Man, we can get into that later. I know you want to talk about that, but the rest is history.
All right. Well, I think we can. That was going to be my next question. But Kareem, Thank you for the super chat, the $10 super chat. And Fred Holiday says, Doc and Rom, great show. So I guess this kind of intersects YouTube with business.
Yeah.
Someone, a larger content creator, because I'm a small content creator, took a look at what I was doing and basically said, you got too many channels. You need to consolidate back down to one. And I had to think about it. I asked you about it. And I said, one of my inspirations for doing that was Uncle Rom. So Uncle Rom, how many channels do you have? And because I know you have the men's channel, the women's channel, the business, the deep thought.
That's it. For now, the 4. In the back of my mind, I'm thinking about doing a channel strictly for Black relationships.
Okay.
Strictly, but I don't the style, and that'll be later. When I say strictly, because even on my men's channel, some people call me a Black man's dating coach, but I got clients literally from all over the world. I had a WhatsApp conversation with someone who's an Afrikaner. So my stuff goes all over the world. So it's not limited to black men, even though some people might think, because a lot of stuff is just universal. But at the same time, I was thinking, all right, I got my 4, maybe a 5th. I've got to really think about it and how I do it. And it might come later. But anyway, just focusing on the 4, it was just a natural progression, because at first I used to talk about business stuff. on my main channel, but then I wanted to separate that because of the importance of business and making money. Because I'm a capitalist, I'm an unapologetic capitalist. I'm mainly a writer. I could stop doing the relationship stuff tomorrow and just really just want to focus on writing my fiction and write a major science fiction novel. I got to get back into it. I'm just been so busy. But and then the deep thought. I mean, I'm a metaphysic. I'm into metaphysics and just thinking anyway. And one thing I say on my deep thought channel, you can disagree with me. I'm not big on disagreements on my main channel. That's because a lot of times some people are disrespectful. But on my deep thought channel, I love disagree. I tell people constantly, you can disagree with what I say. Just explain yourself and don't be disrespectful. I want you, that's all I want you to do on that channel is think. As long as you show you thought about what you were saying,
Mm-hmm.
I'm good with it. If you thought about it and you're not disrespectful, going after somebody or even another commenter, I'm good with that. It was like just share it. And I've learned a lot. People be sharing books, their perspective. I'm learning something on there because that's all I want. I just want y'all to think. And one of the things with my deep thought channel, that's more my stream of consciousness. I've done some like tangents are big on there, and I tell people it's like this is just to think. And like I say, the commenters, I love the commenters on that channel because they be hitting me with some stuff. I'll be like, man, yeah, I like it. They be hitting me with book recommendations. Say, hey, Ron, check this out. Uncle Ron, check this out. It's like, oh, okay, I'm gonna look that up. I be looking stuff up. Even got some books. And that's the thing on there. In the money channel, I'm gonna tell you what, I separated the because I would talk about it on my main channel. The money channel, I separate because money, we need money. Now I'm famous for saying don't use money to trick and get women. I stand on it. But you still need money to have this equipment to do this. I still need money to everybody still money to be in this place. In your nice spot, my little modest spot, you still need that car. You still need to eat. You know, I
Mm-hmm.
love me some buffalo wings. So I'm like, okay, we need money. There's no ifs, ands, and buts. You know, money isn't everything, but it's up there with the oxygen. So, but the thing I wanted to do, because originally the channel was called Rom Wills about that business. And I would talk about different business ideas and everything. But I came at it from a different thing because I didn't want to go talk about specific how to start a business. There's plenty of channels for that. Indeed, if you want to start a business, like all the technical stuff, oh, there's so many channels for it. But what I found is you got to have a mindset for business. It ain't, if you in a business as an entrepreneur, and I've been really an entrepreneur in business since some type of business since really senior year in high school, not high school, college. Um, hustling, getting money and stuff. I wish it was a straight line, but it is a zigzag. It's a scraggly line. You might be in business but have to sleep on an air mattress. You might be in business but have to buy your food from like a dollar store or something. You know, and
Yes.
I'm like, and there's nothing wrong with that. I know some people who making a lot of money. They brag about it because you could be in business, but you're going to have to get a part-time job. You can be in business, have to get a full-time job, or as I call it, a day job. I've been in all of that, and I wanted to give people the mindset of doing it and let them know, hey, I've been there. I have no shame in saying, okay, there were times with my publishing business I could live on it, got money like crazy. But then there were times I'd have to get maybe two part-time jobs, still had a publishing business, still be struggling. It'd go up and down until I come up with new books or new ways to come make some money. Because I say this with the publishing business, I got hit back in it's about 2003, because black bookstores started falling out.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I came out with my books, I had connections, especially in the DC area, with a bunch of black bookstores. As they start like closing and everything, I was like, wait a minute, because the ebooks and all of that. Now they making a comeback now, but back then it was like, wait a minute, my whole network falling apart. What the hell? you know? So that happens in business. Unfortunately, with business, depending on the business you in, and this is going to be most businesses, you depending on how well another business is doing. So if you got
Yep.
a good business and you getting your supplies from a business, but a certain business, but something happened with them, that could affect you. Now, somebody say, well, get another supplier. Well, you might not get the same deals. There's a lot of stuff with it. And then you get family stuff depending on how your business is. Your emotional state can affect how well you do in business. So it's a lot of little stuff. Your relationship. If you're trying to be an entrepreneur, and as a man, you're dealing with a woman who, quite frankly, just wants to spend money, yeah, that's going to be a problem. Or if you're trying to manage money and you have a wealth consciousness, abundance consciousness, and your partner has a poverty consciousness, that's going to be a problem. So one thing on my Money Matters channel, I talk about all those things as long as it's related to money. I talk about, I don't dip into relationships too much unless we're talking about like unequal partnerships. And that's the most I'll say there. But the thing is, everybody has to make money. I don't care what you do with women. You could be a womanizer. You could be a woman man. You could be a guy who's not getting any. You still got to eat. You still need to be doing something there. So that was a focus of it. So, and I wanted to have separate channels to focus on these ideas. Now, I'll say this about your situation because you had told me about it. And look, you got to follow your vision. And anybody listening, follow your vision. That's good. Hey, somebody else can tell you this and that, but ultimately it's your vision. Because okay, you got this channel right here, big discussions, good. You're talking with different people. Your science and technology channel, that might hit a whole different crowd. See, one of the reasons of having multiple channels, you got different crowds. Like I got the women's channel. I had a lot of women who follow me on my men's channel. I get a lot of women who hit me up privately now. I say 1/3 of my consultation clients are women. So I put something out for them. See, the thing is, it's not even so much, you don't want everybody coming to the channel because what happens is if you got everything on every subject on one channel, yeah, I think it'll grow slower because after a while, people might not see what they're looking for, then they don't want to come every day. Like on Rom's, my main channel, people know I'm talking about, man gets woman and also just masculine self-development. Boom. They can come right there. Deep Thought channel, same, I'm only talking about growth. Boom. They come there just for that. A lot of people have told me they like Deep Thought better. I'm good with that. People come to my money channel, specifically money. They in relationships, what they need to hear for. And, they can thank us, but they don't need to go that deep. They don't need to get into any like deeper aspects of metaphysics. They just want to know how to make money or get some ideas about money. So that's why I was separating. And what my suggestion is, look, if you're looking for a separate audience, boom. Now, one of the things too, and this is a business thing. I remember back in 2017, we had that ad apocalypse, Armageddon or whatever they called it. And then, you also had a situation at the same time, many Black men's channels were being attacked. And one of the things is I just set up new channels. One of the reasons on a practical matter, if for whatever reason something happens to one, I just switch stuff over easily. Boom. It's more a practical thing too. But I would say if your spirit is moved to have multiple channels, talk about different things, stick with it. It's your money. It's your money, man. It's indeed, I got a lot of stuff outside of YouTube. If something happened, like something crazy happened on YouTube, whatever, I'll just say, oh, okay, go to Rom TV, y'all. go to my Patreon. Go. I got people don't realize I got stuff set up that I don't even tell people about yet. But if I need to, I just push the button. That's just business. You don't want to have all your eggs in one basket.
Right.
And that's my thing. Now I respect whatever the gentleman was he told you about having it all on one channel. I could see that, but I see the bigger picture. Like for making money, in general you want to have multiple streams of income. Okay, when your science and technology channel reaches that threshold, that money threshold, boom, that's another way of making money. That's another way. Then your other channels reach that threshold. So you could have 4 different audiences. Boom. You actually multiplying your audiences. Now, it might not look like it now, but just keep growing it. Keep growing it. Boom. There you go. There you go.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Uncle Ram. Let's move on to the next question. So the main channel, the one I initially found, dealt with men's content, becoming our better selves.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, everyone, Rom wrote, and I haven't read it unfortunately, but you wrote a blockbuster essay that caught a lot of people's attention. From what I hear about that was about the sisters creating the men that they that was your creation. Anyway,
Yeah.
um, the your initial channel dealing with men's content
Mm-hmm.
and game and becoming better versions of ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
I said in my opening that I felt like sometimes you were talking to me, and a lot of people don't understand why men would gravitate towards that type of content. What compelled you to create that content? Did you see men in mass numbers lacking those types of things, or lacking those father figures or those
No.
mentors growing up, or you just felt like making the content?
Well, the content was based on my books, and my books came out in my first major men's book came out in 2000, but I had pamphlets even before that. Men were asking for it because okay, let me give you a story of how I even got into doing relationships. Period. My main thing is being a writer. My main thing would write. If I had my druthers, all I would be doing is writing fiction, writing movie scripts and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
If I had my druthers, seriously, I wouldn't be doing. I'd be sitting back and just, publishing a New York Times bestseller and stuff. And and ultimately, I'm still be getting back into the fiction. I do have 3 works of fiction out. Some people have read it. BGS actually talked about it when he had his woman's channel. But I had written this. The first thing I wrote was this short story called "The Perfect Man." I published it as a pamphlet, and I was just testing out the publishing waters, right? All right. It was about a man who was presenting himself as the perfect man to 2 different women. Now, honestly, the focus on it to me was the man and him just being his true self. It wasn't even the relationship thing was secondary, but a bunch of women bought in and they said it was saying something to him. And then this was in the 90s when the big deal was, especially for Black women, finding Mr. Right. So, I had the pamphlet. I had another book called Sellout. That wasn't that was political. That was purely political. That had a relationship issue in it. Like the main characters didn't get together at the end, and women were calling me up and saying, "Well, how can we get them together?" One woman even gave me a scenario how to get them together. I'm like, "Damn, I'm talking about the political stuff." So I saw they were interested. So I wrote a pamphlet for women just to sell, almost like a lottery ticket or something. I literally for $1. It was called Finding a Good Man. So that took me far. I was on like this public access TV show a lot back in the day it was called Love and Happiness in the DC area. So that was the thing. It was all about the women, and I'm selling this, and I'm thinking my peer groups were mostly men who were getting women. So I knew there were men who had trouble, but it's kind of like if it's not right in front of you, you're not thinking about it. As I was selling, several men were coming up to me and said, "We need something. We need something." So I wrote some stuff for the men. And then it took off because even when I brought out Nice Guys and Players, I had to be convinced to bring that out. I had another book. It's out now. It's called Starting from Zero. That's fiction. I had a choice between putting out Nice Guys and Players or Starting from Zero. Everybody, including my wife at the time, were like, "Hey, you got to put out Nice Guys and Players." I was like, "Oh, okay." Then it sold like hotcakes. And then as I was getting feedback, then I really saw what was going on. Like I seen the stuff before, but then you getting stories literally from men all over the world, not just even in the Black community, all over the world. So here I am. And it's like, there was even a period where putting those books out was secondary. I was working on my other stuff. I mean, I would still do relationship panels and everything, but it wasn't a big thing. I was working on my other stuff, my other fiction and all of that. And then kind of got back into it when I got back on YouTube. When I got on YouTube, and like I said, it just exploded. And the main thing, it was helping because that's one of the things that's not talked about. It's expected, there's a general expectation that men should just know what to do, and they don't. If we lived in a civilized culture, there would be a rites of passage. In indigenous cultures where they had rites of passages, the older men would teach the younger men everything they needed to know about women, just like the older women were teaching the younger women what they needed to do. But we don't have that. So that really just got me going. And I really saw it. Because even when I put the book out at first, I was just like, I'll put it out. Wow, it's selling like this. And it was bigger than, we use the word game, but really the original title of Nice Guys and Players was Self-Development of Man. So it's just a man becoming his best self. Because ultimately, once a man becomes his best self, he will attract women, and he will attract the right woman to him who will support him in his mission. See, a woman needs to be complementary to a man, she needs to be complimentary. But in order for that to happen, he has to be his true self, his best self,
Mhm.
So, that's what got me going. I'm happy it gone that way. It's sometimes you don't see what spirit calls you to do. But that kind of let me know, okay, I need to help the men out here. You find your destiny even when you're not looking. Still gonna write some fiction books, but even in my works of fiction, two of them, one is called Starting from Zero, one is called Those Eyes. It still has a lot of self-development for men, especially starting from zero. Especially starting from zero, because the main character in that book literally goes down to zero. The first chapter isn't chapter one, it's called chapter 24. And then it counts down. The next chapter is chapter 23, then 22. It counts down. He literally goes down to zero, but then he climbs back up. So even that is something for self-development for men, because we
Okay.
need it. We need it.
Okay. Well, let's and yeah, I believe your content has done a lot of good. Um,
Mm, I'm
let's
honored.
let's let's talk briefly about ranking systems. There are different ranking systems out there. There's high value, high value. There's the octane
Mhm.
scale. In the Rom universe, there's select
Mhm.
and non-select.
Yes.
Some people are uncomfortable with making those designations. In general, have you gotten pushback about
Oh
select and
yeah.
non-select, or
Oh
what do
yeah.
you make of
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, but I mean, look, one of the things out here, especially helping men, is you got to understand the reality. The reality is women in general have a select and non-select, but then also individually. You want to be select in a woman's eyes. That means she's automatically going to be submissive to you. She's automatically going to be complimentary to you. She's automatically going to support you. She's going to give you favorable treatment. But then some other men, she's not. And one thing to be clear about that select non-select thing, it's a sexual thing. It's a sexual hierarchy. When women are looking at men, even if they don't want to have sex with them, they're still looking at his sexual worthiness. And even if it's something, even yeah, he could have. I mean, he can make money, he can do all this stuff, but if she's not turned on sexually, she's just not. If you look at my work on a deeper level, I'm telling men how to become sexually empowered. Now, here's the thing. Here's the thing with it, and this is the biggest thing I have a problem with. A lot of guys think the select and non-select is just stationary. Once you non-select or you've been rejected by a bunch of women, that's it for life. No, if somebody reads my book, I'm telling you how to become select. I'm telling you how to do it. And it's not a magic thing. I talk about body game. If a man gets in the best physical shape for his DNA, he's going to draw women naturally attracted to that. If he develops his other traits, if he develops his ability to make money, not to hand it to the women, but to be that hunter, if he develops his warrior side, if he develops his logical reasoning side, if he develops his ability to really make love to a woman, the more he develops himself, the more a woman's attracted to that because she's naturally attracted to that. If somebody really look at my stuff, I'm telling you just natural attraction. Now, yeah, I'll use game, out of, the, the term and stuff, but I don't have any tricks in the book. I don't provide any tricks or something. It's just being your best version of yourself. It's just that simple. And the body is just the foundation. I tell people that you still got to develop your personality. You still got to develop your masculinity. Now, yes, people have some problems with it, but understand something with women. Just the nature of women, they always ranking. They always rank in one way or the other. Ironically, they don't really use that like 1 through 10 system. That's men. But they'll say, he's sexy fine. He's husband cute. Oh, he's creepy. They always doing something. They always looking at a guy. They always, because they always comparing one man to another man. And it's just some guys might get mad, but I'm telling them, okay, this is what women do. Don't get mad. And even when you be in your best version, you're not even really doing that for the women. You're doing that for yourself to give yourself options on which women you're going to deal with. Because when women are choosing a man, the man still has a choice of which women he's going to deal with. And I'm saying, okay, develop yourself so you have the better options on your options, though, your options. And indeed, women on a deep level want a leader. They want a powerful man like that. They want a man, really, period. Unfortunately, we live in a society that attacks masculinity. So if
Yeah.
somebody read it like Nice Guys and Players, I say both in Nice Guys and Players, my book's Nice Guys and Players and Sexual Chemistry. Yeah, I talk about the guy, Mr. Goodbar, he get all the women, but even Mr. Goodbar, I say Mr. Goodbar got to get sexual discipline to become a real man. And that's all it is, because you want to be that superior man. You want to be that real man that go out here and just do stuff, not just to get women. In fact, the more powerful a man becomes, he's not chasing a bunch of women. He only is going to deal with quality women. And that woman got to bring something to the table. And when I say bring something to the table, she got to be supportive. She got to be an asset to him and not a liability. So that's what it's all about. Now, some people get mad and say, no, 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 don't look. It's a diagnostic tool. When if you find out you non-select, you figure it out. Okay, good. Okay, this is what you got to work on. Like all the archetypes of men in my book I talk about, I give each one of them something to work on. I don't say, oh, you just there. I say, look, all of y'all want to be the real man. This is what you need to work on. Nice guys, you work on this. If you're a gamesman, work on this. If you're a masked man, work on this. Even Mr. Goodbar, you got to work on this. If you want to be a sex toy all your life, fine. But if you want to be a real man, you got to develop some discipline and figure out what you're going to do with your life.
Okay. So moving on, some of your basic teachings, having a mission, the body game,
Mm-hmm.
and also I think I thought one of the most powerful ones was knowing your tribe, and
Mm.
in my mind that kind of goes along with social class because you need to
Yes, it
know.
is.
Okay, some people don't like the idea of having social classes and understanding tribes. Have you ever encountered that? Like,
Yeah, but
okay,
well, let me be clear about when I say tribe, that
yeah,
don't your tribe can be a certain social class, but when I say tribe, I specifically mean the group of women that find you naturally attractive. See, one thing people don't talk about, there's a natural attraction. You can see if you watch, you can like when I was watching my sons, that's when I really saw it. I had been told about it before, but then I really saw it with my sons. They don't have no game or anything when they were babies, but they were attracting certain types of women and then studying it on a deeper level. See, our DNA already puts it in us to attract certain people who are natural to us. Your tribe is simply the group of women who are naturally attracted to you. And yes, class will be in there because it's a part of it. Class influences behavior. So your tribe may be those 89 octanes. Your tribe may be those 92 octanes. Unfortunately, for some dudes, your tribe may be those 85 octanes. But the beauty of the tribe is if you change yourself, then your tribe changes. You actually have control over your tribe by changing yourself, and then it changes the type of women who find you attractive. So if you need to move up, okay, you got to upgrade yourself. But that's all the tribe is. And yes, class will be in there. Class will be in there because that's going to affect the behavior. Religion will be in there. We don't talk about religion and relationships enough, but there's a big difference between that woman who won't set foot in anything spiritual and she's all wild and that woman who's devoutly spiritual. Now, yeah, the woman who's devoutly spiritual, yeah, she can get down, but she's still looking for a certain somebody. Her behavior is going to be affected, and even that subculture, everything, every little thing affects it because it affects how it, on a deeper level, it even affects your appearance. Because if okay, like with the social classes, if you notice the more upper social classes, they bigger on staying in shape. They big on working out. Whereas you get some of the lower classes, it's just like blah. They just hang, let everything go. So even the social class, all of that affects it. But your tribe ultimately is the group of women. Just think of like the group of women who are naturally attracted to you. Like if I can take one look at a woman and I already know, okay, she'll be a problem. Oh, she's a natural. Boom. Always click with those type of women. Always. Because I already know my tribe. And that's all when I tell guys a tribe, I say, look, pay attention. Or even write it down. Which women do you click with automatically? You don't have to work hard. Which women you got some trouble with? Which women just reject you totally? Okay, now you know your tribe.
Okay. And one of the themes that you talk about in your content, and which you've articulated here, is that we can continually evolve. We don't have to stay in that one place.
Yeah. And that's important for a man. That's why I've done the self-improvement summit. That's why we have a number 6 coming up. Every man can improve. And the beauty of it is you got total control over it. I talk about body game. That's definitely improvement. If you don't want to, okay, fine. You have the science and technology channel that's growing. You telling men how to get there, how to get into that. Like I said, you already got a subscriber now as soon as I get the link. And that's important, your knowledge. Because when you improve yourself, you're not just improving your body, that's one thing, but you improving your knowledge, you improving your charisma, you getting braver, you fighting your demons. So every man should be doing that. So yeah, ultimately it's about self-improvement. And a man has 100% control over it, because one of the things I talk about, and a lot of people don't quote, I talk about a man being sovereign. So his sovereignty starts with himself. I don't care where he at, where he live. He got to start with himself and then gradually expand that sovereignty. And every man can do it. Until you got global domination, you got work to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean that literally. It's like, somebody's, well, I'm as far as I can go. It's like, you run the world? No. Okay, you got further to go. And it's like, of course, you might not run the world. I'm going to say might not, because what if somebody told Jeff Bezos that when he was young? But you can still expand what you got. I don't care what you got, you can get better. If you
Yep.
don't like your small apartment or your small studio, you can work to get a bigger apartment. You can work to get a house. You don't like just that house, you want more space, you can work to get that mansion. And some people say, that ain't. No, you can work. Even if, look, it's like this old saying, shoot for the moon, even if you miss, you're among the stars. So just keep going. That should be a constant thing. And not just physically, but mentally. Get into that knowledge, learn new stuff. I like when I learn new stuff. Show me something new. Tell me some new stuff I didn't know before. I love it. In fact, if I go like a few days, I don't learn something new, I go crazy. No, seriously, I go crazy. I mean, sometimes I'll just sit and look up. I'll see some word I haven't seen before, or some philosophy, and I'll check it out. I will look at it. I was like, I might look at it and don't agree with it, but then I at least know about it. I'm like, okay. I love to learn.
Okay.
When I was little, living in Southeast DC, still my grandmother, she would buy me encyclopedia sets. And I would just sit there and go through it. Didn't have Google or anything like that, of course. I would just sit there and just read everything. Found out later I would know more than some of my teachers, but that's another conversation. The education system, I ain't gonna get into it.
Okay.
But okay.
Well, the again, for the people, there are people who don't understand, self-improvement and why, one would invest time in watching content or even going to conferences. I think it's important just to understand how to navigate the world. If you weren't equipped with that early, you got to figure out how to navigate the world.
I like that you said that. And like I said, I like when somebody brings, you brought another angle to it, navigating the world, period. Now, I'll call it sovereignty or something, but you still got to deal with the outside world, and you need that. You need that, because this world is not kind. Honestly, this world is survival of the fittest. So you need to get as fit as possible to navigate this world. Bravo. I like you put it that way.
Okay. So everyone, we have a a few more questions. If you have questions for Rom, if you super chat them, they'll get higher priority. And if you're new coming in, please hit the like. So you started a ladies channel at some point, and I noticed you're gonna laugh at this. I noticed you have to tell the men, fellas, back off. Let me handle this. And I know why you do that, but and you're very honest and forthright with the women in your audience. How has that been received?
I get a lot of women hit me up privately because the thing is, I tell women the truth. I've told women, it's like, look, you want that like 6-figure man or something? Oh, that man making all that money. Well, you got to be fine. Now, if you're not fine or you don't want to be a trophy, then it's better you get that man who got your intentions, good intentions towards you. And believe it or not, I told them, I said, shoot, y'all can build together. Y'all can build together. Because I got a video coming. I'm saying some of those guys, they think they're getting some guy with money. They might be getting a dog. And I'm saying, and I say, look, I ain't telling them to get a broke guy or a dusty guy. I say there are a ton of solid working men out there, solid men. And I said a man with good character is going to get a job. Is he going to be making 6 figures? Maybe, maybe not. But get a solid man, somebody who's saying, all right, I got you. I'm gonna do all the stuff I'm gonna do as a man. Now, if he's making 6 figures and stuff, hey, that's great. But don't put the money first, because I constantly preach this to the ladies. A man is always gonna work. I will shout that to the heavens. Any man, I've yet to meet a man, capital M, capital A, capital N, who didn't want to work. Every man is always going to do something. So I say, look, get that man, get that good character. I tell the ladies that. I say, get a solid man. And some people might say, oh, you going? No, I don't preach fantasies. I'm telling them the truth. Don't look for the fantasy. Look for the reality. Look for that man who got good intentions. And many women appreciate it. I've had some detractors, some female detractors on there, but many women appreciate the honesty. It's like, it's tough love. It's tough love. I'm saying, look, this is what you need to do. And I say, even when they talk about the, big money guy or something, I say, no, well, you still got to be an asset to him. What are you bringing? You got to give him, so you don't think he's just going to get you. And, unless, you don't want to be that woman he's just having sex with, because he ain't going to treat you. He's just going to do that. If you want all that stuff, what you going to get? But even then, they still got to click with his personality, no matter what. Mm-hmm. I'm just honest with them. I'm just straight up with them. And, I just, one of the reasons I don't want too many men, unless they add into the conversation, commenting on that channel, is a lot of men are expressing frustration. I'm like, no, fellas, let me take care of it, because there's a bigger plan. There's an even bigger plan with these ladies, but don't interfere with that plan. Yep. One thing about me, people don't realize, I think 5 years ahead. Like this play, if people peep that, like, okay, like with Zoom, some people in one of my private groups, they like, damn, Rom, you were already on Zoom before people got to it. I'm like, yeah. Because I told you, I got some stuff I'll put into place and don't talk about or even get links to, but then all of a sudden it explodes and it's like, wait, where'd that come from? That's me. So when I'm even doing a woman's channel, I'm actually telling I'm actually helping the men out. Because let's be real, most men don't want to be players. Most men just want a good woman who's going to be supportive of their plan. And what I'm doing, I'm telling, hey, I'm creating. I got a bunch. You know what? I got a bunch of women I know now. I could probably put single women. I could probably put them in a room and need some good women for some guys right now. People don't know I'm building some of these women up. And I'm doing it for the good men and legitimate good, not the men who call themselves good, but solid men who got some plan for their life, trying to do something. So that's me. That's what I'm doing with that.
Okay. I'm going to read this comment here from really Chris. She says, yes, if the sky's the limit, then buy a cloud. Talk that talk. I speak that life into my brothers, and I told them they better get a woman who speaks that life into them and live by the same.
Yeah. Oh, well, see, I gotta give it to her. She knows what's up. See, you know what? I'm gonna tell you something now. Yeah, you know, I don't go in on women, but I will call out some bullshit. You get too many women out here who, they feel like they can put a man down, say all this negative stuff, but he's still supposed to love them. I'm like, please. A woman speaking life into a man, just whispering in a man, say, baby, you got this. I believe in you. You know how much ass a man a kick?
Yep.
You go out there. I told women, I was like, like at the self-improvement summits, we had women, I told them straight up, looked them in the eye. I've done seminars in the past with just women in the room. I said, look, nature made it easy for y'all. All you have to do is look, be feminine, support that man. You still want to nurture him. You want to have that intuitive side. You want to support his business. You want to be his lover. That's all you really need. Speak that, and she said it right. Speak that life into him. A woman don't realize if you just say support and say, baby, you got this, and look him like strong, like no doubt. You got this, but you got too many women out here. They want to put a man down, but still want all the benefits from it. I'm like, you're hustling backwards, baby. Why should that man you put him down? You making him feel bad, but he's supposed to try to impress you? Oh no. Oh no. Because as soon as a woman say something negative to me, I'm just like, I might, depending on how she said, I might say something back to her. But otherwise, I was like, oh man, damn, you got a fat ass too. Oh well. Seriously, I don't play that. And no man should play that. And women should understand that. And especially if that man already working hard, you see he doing something. One of the things I tell the women on my channel, on my woman's channel is, look, find that man who actually working for something. That's the one you want to grab. You want to get him then. So you see that man, you see he working 2 jobs, you see he going to school, you see he got that business, you see he got a plan. That's the one you better grab. Support him. Don't wait for him to get all that stuff and then think he gonna grab you, and then or then you see a man, he struggling. You know what? He might not have those fly shoes and stuff. He might not have that fly clothing, but he working. He's in school and he's working full time, trying to do something. Don't put him down because his shoes ain't right and stuff. Seriously, that's a big problem with a lot of women. They rejecting a man off some stuff that can easily be changed, not his character. I can see she reject him off his character. I'm like, okay, that's fair. But rejecting him off some stuff, his haircut, which could be changed, or you know what, he ain't wearing that polo. He wearing that department store brand. All right, but what's he doing? He can always get a polo. He can always get those fly shoes. He can always get that fly haircut. What kind of character he got? Is he a man doing something, or he a man full of shit? And I tell women that. So, and I know I sound fired up about that, but I am, because I'm like, hold up. There's a ton of good men out there. And that's ultimately who I'm trying to support. That's ultimately like legitimately good men. Not giving guys who just say it, but guys doing something. They got a plan. They doing stuff, And a lot of women blowing it with them, when all they had to do is just support them. And then there's going to be times he down, because like I said, the path to success is a squiggly line. It's a big blob. There's going to be times he got that business, but he down,
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Hey, Rom, I just can you see the private chat?
Yeah.
I just wrote something in there.
Yeah, go ahead and answer.
Okay.
You and
all right. I'll try to take this one. I'll do my Obama diplomatic thing here. Ray Alexander, thank you for the $5 super chat. He says, Ramen, Dr. Dunbar, DC has lots of single professional Black women. What has it been like as a professional Black man dating the upscale sisters of the DMV? I'll just, you know what, Ray? I'll just say that people here are very career oriented, and people are about that business. They're about those promotions. And I think that adds in some different dynamics besides boy meets girl. So you can, careers can become the most important thing. And also in some instances, you can end up competing with each other. Certainly the this is the home of the federal government. It's the hub, so your GS level matters, your pedigree matters, the school you went to, your black green
Negro geography
matters if you're in one, the church you go to matters, the car you drive matters. So all those things get put into the calculus. That's the way I would answer that. So
I'm in full agreement with what you're saying. I mean, it's Negro geography and everything. It's, you know what I would say, and that's an issue with more upper classes because it's not pure attraction. It's just not pure attraction. It's all that other stuff. Where'd you go to school? How much money you making? You got some women, and especially in the DC area, you got some women. If you're not making a certain amount or you're not doing this business thing a certain way or whatever. And I told the women, I was like, yeah, don't get burned because the guys get slick. Because some guys, you know how some guys will do, and I've known some professionals who will do it. They'll show up to that date in a hoopty. They'll show up in a hoopty, or something like that. And it's messed up. And you just get a lot of problems. There's a lot of relationships that's not happening because you got all this other artificial stuff. And when I say artificial, the problem is, but the problem is you too focus on, now it's important, yes, if you coming together in a relationship, but you still got to keep it in perspective. You still got to get along with the person. You still got to get along with the character no matter what. And yeah, it can be annoying. I'll put it
yeah,
like that. It can be annoying even when you having sex with them. It can be annoying because trust me, I've dealt with a lot of AKAs and stuff and everything. And I remember I was at a before COVID, I was at a girlfriend's function with a lady friend, and she's definitely up there. And these women, I met somebody, shake me, say, "Well, hey, what's your?" I was like, "Oh yeah, my name's Rom." She's like, "Rom what?" And I was like, "Oh damn, Negro geography." I say, I know she looked my name up and say, "He's the Wills. Are the Wills a family?" I don't know.
wow.
They're a bunch of Creoles from LA. I mean, just like, I could just tell. I could just tell, but I knew the game though. So I was like, I was cool with the me and the sister. I mean, we cool to this day. Short list for a wife. I'll put it like that if I ever get married again. But everybody else, I was like, okay, you better be glad I like you. I told her that too.
Yeah.
But no,
Well,
that's just a reality. That's just a reality there.
yeah. Well,
And it could be, you know, on some level, yes, you want to have the same value system, but you still got to have the character, your personality still have to click. Yes, the class is still important. The social values, all of that are important, but don't take it too far to that other side. All right. I would say there needs to be a balance in general. And that's messing up a lot of women. That's why you got a lot of professional women complaining. You got some professional women, they don't want to marry or deal with that that guy might be blue collar, but that guy blue collar might be on his way to being a millionaire. And if they work together, they could really create something, you know, and that brings the class thing into it. Like one of the things I say, yeah, class plays an important part. You want to pay attention to it. But then sometimes people got to stop and think. It's like, okay, yeah, that plays a part because it shapes behavior. But you also got to think, all right, don't let it limit you. You know, the best men for some of these women might not be that corporate executive. It might be that teacher.
mhm.
It might be that teacher, and that teacher might have an idea to form a business which y'all could work on together. Like an example I would use from back in the day, I gave this example. What if you got a woman who's an accountant, but the guy's a bus driver? Now people say, "Oh, you're a bus driver, she's an accountant." Okay, the example I told them was, all right, what if that bus driver got an idea to start a company? And he got the knowledge, he got the skills, connections, and the ability, the work ethic to make it into a major transportation company. All right, that accountant, she can count the books. Boom, they working together. And then all of a sudden, one thing in this world, one thing, as much as class behavior makes a difference, there's plenty of people who, through the sheer will, rise in class. You know, because that blue collar guy, yeah, he started out that way, but then where does he send his children to school? You know?
Mhm.
Mm.
Okay. You're always transparent about your frugal nature. You'll find this funny. Years ago, I messed around and took a woman to Applebee's on a first date.
Oh wow.
And she told me, I don't like to eat at chains, and I don't like to eat at places like that. And I was like, oh, okay. I didn't. So ever since then, I've been a little mindful of where not to go for dinner.
You know what? Whatever. See, that's some silliness. That's some silliness. I remember, you know what? I was hanging out with this a professional woman I was dealing with. She's out in LA and stuff. I mean, she made money, like PhD, everything, right?
Yeah,
And one, she didn't bring it up anyway, but we were going to some expensive places, right? But she didn't insist on it. I wanted to go to those places, but we also ate at some like just basic joints too. So it's like whatever. It's like, come on now, and you can eat anywhere. Yeah, I can take you to Ruth Chris, but you know what? Maybe I want like TGI Fridays or something. You know, it's like, come on now. Don't get caught up into that. And then I would question in that situation, I would question what did she really want anyway? Did she want to get to know you? Or she just wanted that fancy date? Because y'all the ones supposed to be related. What that place got to do with anything? Y'all
yeah.
still got to
Well,
talk.
Uncle Ram, in this metropolitan area, titles
Oh, I
don't
know.
really matter.
I know.
And I'll just say that when you look on social media, some people put their title. I don't put my title on social media. I mean, I talk about it here on YouTube, but on my Facebook and my Twitter, I don't say Doctor, so and so. But some people, and with the titles,
Oh, I know.
sometimes comes a sense of entitlement
Oh, I
and
know.
a God complex.
Oh, no, trust me. Trust me. There's some stuff I don't talk about myself because I don't want people to focus on it. Really, seriously, because it's at the end of the day, it's like whatever, whatever.
Yeah.
You know what, man? I'll share one thing, man. I remember one time, and this is one of those periods. There was a down financial period, and it was because of some stuff happening with my family. Which I'll just say this: uh, if you got write a will, I'll leave it at that. So it was some down stuff after the death of my grandmother, and I'll leave it at that. There was a point, me and my family, all these degrees between us, we rented a place out from some blue collar dude, you know. And I'm like, you know what? Oh, that's some bullshit. Okay, title, whatever. What that got to do with character? It's all this artificial stuff. It's all this mass stuff. And these people, because these same people wonder why they not in a relationship. You know.
Hmm. Yeah.
Now, if you going for a particular job or something in a career, oh yeah, the title matters, and but we talking about relationships. Come on now. I mean, I understand it. Is man, I was like, man, whatever, whatever. Because seriously, because I'm gonna tell you what, one of the best money managers I've ever met, and this was when I was living and working in DC, was a guy who worked at this book stand. And I remember just walking with him to the bank. Now, this is the 90s. He had a $1,500 paycheck and he got it weekly. He owned his own house though. And I remember he said, he tell me too. Now you look at the guy, you wouldn't think anything, but attorneys, accountants, executives would regularly talk with this guy and go deep. Even some people from the White House would talk to him and he would go deep. But this dude, he owned his own house outright, no house payment. He had Swiss bank accounts. And I never forget what he said. He said, Ron, forget all this other stuff. Just read the Wall Street Journal and just read the Wall Street Journal. I was like, what? He's like, forget all this other stuff. You can figure out everything from financial. This dude was like a financial genius. And then, ironically, he had an 8th grade education.
Wow.
I never forget him. Rest his soul. He passed away, but this dude, I mean, when you first look at him, you wouldn't think anything of it. But the intellect on this man and the money he had. I mean, I'm walking to him, and I mean, this dude had more money than most people, but he lived very plain. You know, even what I do now. Like I said, I live modestly. I only live on like 40 to 50% of my actual income. You know, part of it I'm putting away for taxes, but I just like having extra money. You know, I just like having extra money, and always got to have a certain amount in my savings. I make love to my savings first, because I realized a lot of that other stuff was bullshit. There was a time I lived that way and got in all those titles and all of that, but
Mm-hmm.
then I said, you know what? I don't have no sovereignty in my life. I'm living according to everybody else's will and stuff. I'd rather have power. I don't care. I don't need a title. I'd rather have power. I'd rather have power in my life. I'd rather have the decision to sit on here and be on this call longer. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather have that. I'd rather know that when I wake up in the morning, I can do whatever I feel like doing and still make money. So all this other stuff is some bull. I'll just say it. I said it to some of those women. I said, man, don't get caught up in that. You better find that man who actually like your ass. And and if in your circles, you'll find a professional anyway. I understand about the values. Hey, that's fair. That's fair. But you gotta balance it out. What kind of character does this person have? Do y'all actually get along? I've seen some robotic relationships. Robotic.
Yep.
And let's just be real. If we're going to talk about who's getting together and who's not, a lot of professionals, they'll have more problems in relationships than others, and they shouldn't. You say, well, you got this title, you got all of this, because you focus too much on the profession. When y'all butt naked in the bedroom, what does that profession matter?
Yep.
I'm serious. Or when y'all having a conversation, okay, good, y'all can talk about the jobs. Okay, now what? And in
Yeah.
fact, I'm gonna tell you something now. Those relationships who get together, y'all heard me talk about the sexual shadow world. A lot of those are just business. A lot of those, when they do get married, a lot of those men and women be cheating with somebody else and knowingly cheating. But it's just
Yep.
business. Now, if they both conscious is business, hey, it's cool. But it is what it is. I'm like, nah, I don't want to do that for business. I don't want to do that.
Okay.
Now, it's funny I'm saying all this, but when I think about all most of the women I got along with, they were AKAs primarily. But even then, I'm gonna tell you something with that. Even then, the business or what they did for a living didn't come into the picture. We just clicked.
Just clicked. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, before we move on, I just have a few more. I'll say that the the image that the Obamas created, the power
Mm-hmm.
couple, that's very uh,
Oh, they were a power couple.
that's highly desirable. Being that
Yeah.
power couple, I'll say that.
And that's cool. That's cool. But they were a real power couple because if you look at I'll just say some murmurings, they probably, if it wasn't, Obama wasn't groomed to be president, they might not have been a couple.
Hmm.
I mean, like I said, at that level, it's pure business.
Pure business.
It's business. When you look at those couples, they'll get together to get that power, but it's business. And if they do anything outside of it, they just keep it on the low. You know, they'll usually have a kid. The Clintons, that was business. It's usually that's one thing at that level. They ain't marrying for love. They marrying from the neck up, or what we consider lust. And but see, that's another level than even what the young man was talking about, though. That's an even different level. That's a total power level.
Okay.
So it's, I would just say that if you at that level, like real power, okay. But a lot of people ain't really at that level. They
No.
might think they are. They really ain't. They might be professional, but When you talking about running countries, running companies,
Well,
that's something totally different.
well, the image of the Obamas was very finely crafted, and
Oh,
and there
yes,
was a bit of royalty to them,
yes.
and yeah, it is a very enticing and appealing image.
Hmm.
Um, okay, so just a few more. And I think I've heard you say this in your content. We were talking about the women's channel, and you said there you had to kind of keep the frustrated men back. These discussions get pretty fierce about these black relationships and what's wrong with the black
um,
community. Do you feel like too much time is spent going back and forth about what the other gender is doing, and
um,
we just need to focus on
I would
making
say
our own individual situations better? What do you think about that?
I would say this. I mean, it's definitely important because relationships are important. The biggest issue is there's not enough talk about solutions.
Okay.
That's the biggest single issue. Yes, I mean, one of my solutions is self development. And even on my women's channel, I'm telling the women about developing themselves, definitely talking about it. But when we had these conversations back and forth, we're pointing fingers and talking and saying all this. I say, okay, what are we going to do about it? And I would say I'll give us a overall solution, and it's not something I can implement by myself. But the culture has to change overall in the black community. The culture has to change, and it's bigger than saying, "Oh yeah, they want Pookie and Ray Ray or whatever." It's bigger than that. It's bigger than that. It's about looking at the whole picture. Because if you wondering why fish or animals behave the way they do, look at their environment. And it's so many. I mean, it's deeper. You got to look at where we're living, what country we're living in, what are our rituals, how we worshiping God, our religion, what we spend our money on, what's important. And overall, it isn't working. Yes, there's some exceptions. Yes, there's some people making it, but but the overall thing isn't that good. So one, we got to discuss real solutions, and that's the toughest thing. That's tough. Now I gave my little part. I say, okay, if each individual, like you said, if each individual work on themselves, that's a solution. But then how do we extend that to the overall population? One of the ways that has to be looked at is media. Media. If you look at it, media doesn't promote good black relationships overall. In fact, when Insecure comes out again, me and Miss Omoka Angel will be doing some reviews of it because they point out a lot of stuff. And actually, I give it to Issa Rae. She actually tackles some real stuff. But other people, I mean, it's just some bull. Like a certain person that was wearing got big by wearing a dress. In fact, me and cousin T-Tal just did a review from one of his channels, and I was like, the stuff there is crazy. What does it promote? I mean, if somebody from the future were to look at the media for black relationships was presented, they would be like, damn, they were just jacked up. And it is jacked up, but people are making money off of it. So that's what they keep showing instead of showing, hey, a strong couple. Like back in the day when the Cosby Show was on, people don't know how powerful that was or the image it promoted. Or when the spinoff show A Different World was on, the enrollment at historically black colleges tripled. They said it tripled while A Different World was on. So the media is powerful. But the media images now just show constant dysfunction because it makes money. So that's a big thing. The religious institutions need to step up. The ministers, the ministers who ain't trying to bone half their congregation, they need to step up. Everything that influences. There's three things that influence people generally. Um, let's see, definitely religion, education. And when I say education, how we educated, how we socialize, what we focus on when we're in the schools, and then the media. Now, if you work on those three things, and make some changes there, then it changes the culture overall. Once the culture overall is changed, then you'll start seeing changes. Like if you start promoting some media, like some movies with a strong black male figure supported by his woman. And she's still strong in her own right, too. She's not a docile thing. Let's be clear on that. Some dudes want a docile woman. No, if you're a king, you want a queen. And a queen's going to carry herself a certain way. If we had that promotion and more, boom, it means a lot just in the media. And then if the churches were promoting it, the synagogues, the temples were promoting it. And then even the education system is promoting it. If you had all this stuff promoting it, you change the culture, the relationships will change. Now that's bigger. Like I said, that's bigger than just one person can do. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Even I'll tell you what, even if you had several YouTube channels where you had particularly black men and black women actually working together, having a normal, not going at each other, but having a work together conversation, that would make a big difference. So that's the key. That's the thing. It had to change overall to really solve it. But going back and forth and all this other stuff, and it don't really do anything. That's
No,
why.
it gets draining after a while.
You know, it really does. It really does. So I mean, it's like that's why, like I said, I'm thinking about doing a fifth channel black relationship, but I would have to do it differently. You know, I would have to do it differently. It'd probably be more of a serious thing, not just random videos, but maybe getting some ministers on there, spiritual leaders, some educators, some media people. But it would all be positive and saying, okay, the only way you could get on here or I talk is it got to be solution orientated. But it's tough. There's so many forces that work against it. There's
Mm-hmm.
so many forces because I'm gonna tell you what, a family is powerful. A family is powerful. You know, if you got a powerful husband, you got a powerful mother. They educating their children, they taking care of them, they keeping them out of trouble. Think about what that does. You know, they could have three children, but imagine you educate all three children, and then they get good mates. And then the grandchildren, same thing, they get good mates. All of a sudden, you got a different community. And thankfully, in Black America in particular, you do have communities like that. You do like the more upper class communities that I say old money community. You know, they'll call them the black bourgeoisie or something, black upper class. In fact, everybody got some issues, but if you look at their relationships, they're a little bit stronger.
Mm-hmm.
They're a little bit stronger, and it's more about, you know, and if you really look at it, yeah, they professional and all of that, but it's not in the same vein as people coming up. This is old money. In fact, there's a show coming on Fox, Our Kind of People, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna see if they promote that. But that's one thing when you deal with that more upper class, their relationships are a little bit better because they're staying in a circle and stuff. They got more rules.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing. That's one thing I'll say. That's the good thing about them. And it's not just, like I say, it's not just like what, you know, where they went to school and all that stuff. That's usually like the up and comers. They get too caught up in that. But it's more because one thing with these families are interconnected. So they
Yep.
already know each other.
Yep.
They already know each other. Like I said, when I went to the event, they wanted to know what's your last name, you know. So they were trying to see.
Yep.
So you know, like I said, it can have some good stuff as long as it's balanced.
Yes. I was gonna say, well, I read that book, Our Kind of People, and over on my entertainment and media channel. That's my smallest channel, but I think that's the most popular video. And what I as a review of that book. And one of the things when I think about that book, I realize is, as you said, it's a circle. They have a
Mm-hmm.
distinct culture,
Mm-hmm.
and they want to, and they're very particular about who comes in there.
Yeah, yeah. And see, that's the key to it. That's the key to understand, and that's actually different from what the young man was saying earlier about, you know, some of the professionals. You check if some of the last professionals coming up doing all that. Well, they climbers, 92 climbers and stuff. So they thinking that, but then when you deal with those people already there, it's totally different. I first started encountering them in high school. I mean, I saw a difference. I knew some of them in high school. It's a totally different vibe. Indeed, they even look different on some levels. That gets into some deeper stuff, like almost like a separate ethnic group
Hmm.
within the community. That's how deep it is. And me, I can get into some metaphysics. People mate with that, which people will tend to mate with people similar to the people in their family group. They have a stronger attraction, just similar. So that's a deeper thing. It's a DNA thing. If I've talked about the imprint, but the imprint's actually deeper than just who somebody had sex with first. People start by imprinting their opposite sex parent. So they'll start looking for something similar automatically, subconsciously. So, and if you look at any ethnic group, any group, and there's tons of them, they look similar. And you can even see that with the black upper class. It's not going to be reflected in that Fox TV show. I took one look at them and said, no, no. But it's going to that's a real thing, and
Hmm.
it's a totally different world. But much can be learned from it. Much can be learned from it, and I think that's the key.
Okay. All right. I've got three more. These should go pretty quickly.
Okay.
Arguably, your most I mean, all of your content's important, but that business
Mhm.
channel, I just subscribed to the business channel. I don't know why I didn't subscribe earlier, but I've read a lot about money. I've read a lot about business.
Mhm.
I've been able to start an LLC and an S corp myself just on writing and blogging, and now
Mhm.
YouTubing. And I would encourage anyone watching this to go over and sub. Um, why do you think it's important for us to learn about business as opposed to just going to work for someone else?
Well, it's about control. If you look at okay, like the Asian community,
Hmm.
you notice you don't see them protesting a lot,
No.
or even getting worried about it, but nobody messes with them. As soon as somebody started messing with them, everybody was like jumping on that. Everybody's like, oh, wait a minute, hold up. Money. If you look at a lot of the groups that power, money. They got control over it. Uh, People have been talking about Black Wall Street in Oklahoma, in Tulsa. One of the things with it is they had their own businesses. Indeed, there were several Black Wall Streets in Black America before integration. There were several in DC, like 14th and U. Before it got gentrified, was like a real bad area. But before that, before the 6 Day rise, it was a place to be.
Wow.
You know, you had several in Richmond and Durham, North Carolina, different places. You had it. Business is important. It gives you control, especially Black businesses. And I've done a few videos specifically on Black businesses on my business channel, and I need to get back into doing some of those because that changes a lot right there. That changes a lot because let's be real, the discrimination that people face are primarily on jobs. Okay, if somebody don't like you in the streets, that's one thing, but when you going for a job or you going to a bank to try to get a loan, that plays a big thing, you know? That plays a big thing. Real quick, really, Chris, is your last name Quander? Seriously, if you want to share it, you don't have to share it. You can,
Yeah.
hit us up
Yes.
privately. But I've known a family in the DC area. Oh yeah, they owe money. Oh, some brother Black folks, they owe money. And but getting back to the whole business thing, I mean, that's a powerful thing. You creating your own businesses. You don't have to worry about discrimination.
Hmm.
Okay, okay. You don't have to worry about that. You just have to go and do the work. You got control over it. Imagine if I remember years ago there was a big deal about Robert Johnson trying to buy an airline, and there were some jokes about it. He's going to call it DC Air, but think about how many jobs that would have created, how many opportunities for Black people. You know, that creates opportunities because if you look at a lot of businesses, people hire their own family. That's one thing with the Asian businesses and stuff. They hire their own family. They got whole networks, whole communities and stuff. That gives you control. That gives you power. You know, That's very important. See, African Americans in particular are the least business minded. Or even when we forming businesses, it's usually like one or like those like one person businesses, solopreneurs or something, you know. But imagine just I don't know. Imagine if you could create the businesses. Imagine if you can create like somebody created a black owned grocery store chain. How much money would that create even for other businesses? Because I know there's some trying to create something where they only using black owned products. That creates businesses. Indeed, in the black community, I would say people are always talking about the black dollar only stays there for 15 minutes. That's because they spending money with other groups and stuff. And I even said in the video, I said, look, you know, the main thing that if we want to keep money in the black community, we need those frontline businesses. We need the grocery stores. We need the gas stations. You know, we need like the small takeout places and stuff. We need those businesses people want to spend their money at right away. We don't need the liquor stores. That's one we can live without. But you understand what I'm saying, though. We need those businesses. So if we had those, it changes a lot. The restaurants and all of that. If you notice other groups when they come to this country, first thing they do is open up a grocery store and a restaurant. Like I eat a lot at Ethiopian places. I've been to some Ethiopian restaurants was doubled as a grocery store too. Bring the food because you got to eat no matter what. But yeah, we need those businesses bad. Like one of the things I'm sad about Black Enterprise, I think it's still out in digital form, but I haven't seen a hard copy in years. I don't even know if they still have hard copies. And they need to be more Black business magazines and everything. We need to talk about it. We need more business people. We need
Okay.
to have that mindset.
Okay. Over on Instagram, this is the second to last one. On Sundays, you have a lot of what I'll call spiritual messages about personal growth and wellness.
Yeah.
The one that stood out to me a few weeks ago was about developing our talents and our gifts.
Yes.
What made you start that type of messaging over on IG?
Honestly, I don't know.
You just went with it?
Sometimes I just flowed with it. You know what? Well, I'll take that back. I've been doing it so long. One of the things with me is I'm always about success. Anyway, regardless, that's my ultimate thing is success.
Mm-hmm.
And people got to have that mindset of success. But what stops people from succeeding is not the theys, really. And as much as I talk about the media and all this other stuff, that influences you, but ultimately it's with it. If people develop themselves within, they can conquer without. They can conquer everything around them. So I wanted to give that message. And that even goes back to remember I said I used to write blogs. I used to always do them on Sunday morning. So that's how I got started. And, I just said, all right, I'm just going to put this message out here real quick. Now, the ones I do on IG are actually shortened versions of what I do every Sunday on all my channels. I always have what I call the Sunday morning simulcast. So all my channels, and including like my Patreon and some other my other channel, I got a raw Connect Pile channel. I call it the Raw Brotherhood. I have the same message all the time. And it's all about, and spirit moves me to talk about whatever message. Spirit moves me. So
Okay.
I was just like, okay, all right, this is what's needed. And I've had when I did the last self-improvement summit, I had a young man, an engineer young man. What I'm saying about Black men out here doing some stuff. Engineer. This is a young man, engineer. In fact, it was he had a twin brother, engineer as well. He said a message I had, he gave me a specific message I did, helped him a lot. And that's why I don't get as many views on those messages, but that's what keeps me going with it. Because at one point I was thinking about just stopping them and just chilling on Sunday morning or not even doing it. But then people keep coming back and saying, I needed to hear this today. you know, because even though I don't talk about it as much, I'm a spiritual person. So when I'm called to do something, I just do it. And when I come up with the messages, there's always something personal, either happening with me or happening with somebody I know, something I said, or somebody said something, or they came and hit me with something. I say, you know what, let me address that. Let me address that. Or sometimes they come out the blue, but then a couple people will say, I needed to hear that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's the thing. That's the thing. And, you know, it's an honor to do that. I'm not charging money for it. I just have it. But, you know, we need that inspiration. People need it. And really, the inspiration is just to wake up what people already have within them. They already got it within. I tell people, I say, they say, Ron, you did this. I say, you already had it. I'm just reminding you, you know, I'm just reminding you, you already had it. I need to be reminded sometime. Because, like I
Mm-hmm.
say, I tell people, like on my Deep Thought channel, I say, I'm not a guru on top of the mountain. I'm growing, I'm climbing that mountain right with y'all. Hey, yeah, some of y'all might have to shout to catch my attention. Some of y'all can just talk normal. Some of y'all can whisper in my ear, but I'm right there with you. So I'm still learning too.
Okay. All right. Well, my last question, Uncle Rom. I'm going to take us out with one of your signature sayings, which is keep rising and transforming.
Yes.
So, what I'm gathering from everything you said is that we're not static, we're not stationary. We can continue to grow and evolve, and we should continue doing so.
Exactly. That's all I'm asking. That's all I'm asking. I'm still growing. I'm still growing. I have no problem saying I got demons I'm fighting. I don't share them publicly because some people try to use stuff against you. But I got stuff. I got stuff I got to face. So I know everybody got something. I'm trying to get better. You know, even how I do, okay, like the Sunday morning things.
Mm-hmm.
I actually just ordered the new iPad that's coming out. I pre ordered it because, quite frankly, it looks better on IG. And somebody say, you paying all that for IG? Yeah. Because on that level, it's a business type of thing. I want to look better, even though I don't get any money off of IG. Though I've been offered several partnerships, but I refuse to promote something that I'm not feeling. Now, if somebody give me something I'm feeling, I'll promote it easily, but I refuse to. But it's still a money thing, and I don't know who would have come up, what have happened. They might start figuring out how to advertise on IG, or you could advertise and get paid for it. I don't know, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, I need to look better on there. And then personally, you know, when I have challenges, I run into stuff. I say, okay, I need to be a better person. This is a lesson I need to like learn and everything.
Okay. All right. Well, Uncle Rom, give me 1 second here. Skip that. Okay. Got an error on my computer for a minute there. Well, Uncle
Mm,
Ron, that's on the YouTube
mm.
side, but the
Oh,
StreamYard is one. Anyway, well, Uncle Ron, that's all I've got. Um, do you have any other parting words or anything you want to say before we shut this down?
you know what? Look, I know I'm known as a dating coach, even though I
Uh-huh.
said I'm more of a sex coach. And then, you know, people see my other stuff. Here's my parting words for everybody: work to be the best version of yourself. Work, work. Even learn some forgiveness. That's something sometime I had to learn, you know, learn some forgiveness, get past some stuff, grow to another level. In fact, after we film this, I'll tell you something personally about some forgiveness. All right. After we stop this, Anwar. But it's you know, it's just keep going, yo. Keep going. Yeah, it's tough out there in the world, but think about something. Every single one of y'all is blessed to even be here, to have a device to talk on this level, to watch this, to have someone like Dr. Dunbar, who I know his science and technology channel is going to help people. This has helped people. I've seen a couple of his other streams on here. This is one of the more intelligent streams that you have, Dr. Dunbar. not this one in particular, but I'm just saying your overall, when you streaming, I can just sit back and that's like, man, the conversation is beautiful. It's intelligent. It's not a bunch of bull. I ain't calling no names, but you got some intelligent people in the comment section. You talking on an intelligent level. You presenting something different than the usual bull we have on here. With your educational background and everything you're doing, you providing something. See, a young man to see you, and that young man may never comment, might never say anything, but when he graduates engineering school, he'll call your name. You know, that's the thing, and that's what you're doing. So, and you just being your best self, and you can inspire other people. And this world, ultimately, it would be a different place if everybody works to be their best selves. And let me get spiritual. Whatever your spiritual path is, all of y'all got that spark of God within you. All of y'all, every single person listening. So there's no reason you can't be the best version of yourself. Nothing is stopping you. Nothing. Be the best version. Fight those demons. Fight everything. Learn to be the best. All right. That's all I ask. That's all I ask. When people hit me up and say, hey, I'm doing this and that brings me so much joy. And as capitalistic as I am, as much as I make money, that's to bring me joy. Money, oh, I could do other things to make money. I'm gonna be real with you. I can do several other things to make money. But when I'm actually touching somebody's lives, I feel good about myself. I feel good. And then I love seeing when people just do better. I love seeing that, and that's it. That's part of my mission on this world. So that's all I have, though. I want you to keep rising. Send me that link to my email, man.
I
I'm
will.
putting a link in my car video. I'll talk my usual trash or something to get everybody's interest, but I'll say, okay, y'all got to check this out.
Okay.
In fact, I might
Yeah.
even do the whole car video about that. Yeah, I might do
I,
that. I might do that because, hey, look, just real quick. One of the things, since people, like I told you at the beginning, it was O'Shea, it was Obsidian, it was BGS that kind of helped me to grow on this channel. So it's always my honor to help any young men grow, anybody grow. It's my honor. It's always shout out channels. So expect some traffic. Just think about how you're going to spend that money.
okay. Yeah, I know people don't always know what I'm talking about over there, but the point is to be seen and to start setting an example and getting those messages out, especially for the boys.
Well, let me say this. Like I said earlier, you got some black boys. They can make a radio out of some rocks.
Yep.
There's a lot of creativity, and that's all you need over there. You don't need the whole YouTube over there. You just need those engineers. You need to let them know, hey, you can be the engineer, you can be in that technology. That's the image we need. That's the image we need. But that's not my job. That's your job. That's your thing. So I'm gonna do what I can to get those people over there. Oh no, send me the link. I'm saying look for them tomorrow.
All
Okay,
right.
look for
I'll
them
do it.
tomorrow.
I'll do it as soon as we get done.
All right.
All right. Chief Rocket came through with a super sticker, a $10 super sticker. Thank you. And really, Chris said, did she get a wrench? Yes, I gave you a wrench. You've been supporting my stuff lately. She says, LOL, come through, collab with Unc again. So you have another fan here, Uncle Ron.
Thanks. Yeah, nice looking fan. I see you, girl.
Yeah, she is.
No, but you know what too, and that's another thing. And let me just say this: let my old man flirt just go for a second. Uh, One thing, it's good to see sisters on this channel and when they support too. And that's one thing. I'm just going to say that real quick. I hate when I see black men and black women going against each other and trying to put down. I say, man, there's plenty of good sisters out there. Plenty of them. Stop focusing on the ratchets who are straight up ratchet. Focus on the ones who are very supportive and stuff. You know, be supportive of them and what they doing and everything because they got your back.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, let me also shout out Kareen as well because she supports pretty regularly. As
Definitely,
well.
definitely.
Kareen.
I love seeing that, and they need to. Like I said, man, look for that 1,000 tomorrow. Let me know when you get it. You getting it tomorrow?
Okay. All right, Uncle Ram, I appreciate you. Digital bow here.
Thank you, brother.
Appreciate you coming through, gracing us with your presence and giving us some of your wisdom. So we'll be in touch.
All right, we
And
definitely will.
all right. All right, everyone. Yeah, thank you for watching and for listening to this discussion. And again, if you want to contact me, you can use that email address right there. I have my own blogging platform. I have a Facebook page and a Twitter handle and an Instagram. But in the meantime, everyone, enjoy the rest of your night. If you're watching on the playback, please like, share, and subscribe. Please go over to the Science channel. All that information is below this video. So if I can get that one to 1,000, that would be super. So, and if you want to read about my book project as well, that's down there as well. So everyone, enjoy the rest of your night. Be safe out there. As always, remember that your attitude determines your altitude. Take care, and we will talk to you the next time. All right, bye-bye.
All right.
Let me end this.